Founded in September 2021 in response to the devastating fall of Kabul, Welcome.us was created to build new avenues for Americans and American institutions to support the resettlement of refugees, starting with the tens of thousands of Afghan evacuees who landed in the United States in just a few short weeks. Their arrival created an unprecedented national challenge. The 9 organizations typically involved in refugee resettlement did heroic work, but were overstretched and overwhelmed. Welcome.us stepped in with a deep belief in the power and potential of our American communities, and we helped build a new coalition of welcomers, reimagining refugee resettlement as a community undertaking, a whole-of-country response, rather than just a government process. Americans from all walks of life and American institutions of all kinds joined in the work of welcoming, often led by former refugees and veterans who had fought shoulder to shoulder with the very Afghan allies who are now our new neighbors. And then, in the spring of 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, and the U.S. announced a first-of-its-kind program to allow everyday Americans to directly sponsor Ukrainians in need of safety. We stepped up again to mobilize Americans and ensure that Ukrainians and their sponsors have the support they need from American communities. In the wake of these crises, and for the first time in decades, we tapped into a capacity for welcome that far exceeded what the existing government system could do on its own, and the response from communities across America exceeded what we could have imagined. Our partners have been the cornerstone of our work over the past year, including the leaders from across the private sector who answered our call to be welcomers and brought with them innovative new solutions and support for newcomers.
The American people have long been ready and willing to welcome more newcomers into their communities. They just needed concrete ways to do so. And that's what we and our partners are providing. When we created the Welcome Fund, Americans helped us raise more than $20 million, and 100% of the donations go to organizations welcoming newcomers from Afghanistan and Ukraine. To date, we've distributed nearly $15 million to more than 180 organizations, benefiting tens of thousands of newcomers to the United States. The Welcome.us CEO Council is committed to providing solutions that will help newcomers find stability, secure financial independence, and realize their full potential. Members of the Council have already provided more than $240 million in goods and services to newcomers from Afghanistan and Ukraine, including meeting essential needs with donations of phones, data plans, computers, airline flights, and temporary housing. And they are leading the way in providing newcomers with durable careers through a series of hiring events across the country, allowing newcomers to bring all of their professional experience and education and the diversity of their lived experiences to the workplace. Nearly 350 businesses and frontline organizations are registered on our Welcome Exchange platform, where businesses can match the real-time needs of newcomers in their communities. Our Welcome Essential program helps everyday Americans donate the household goods newcomers need. And our first-of-its-kind platform, Welcome Connect, built by our partners who lead in the technology and engineering space, makes it possible for American sponsors to connect with Ukrainians in need of refuge in real time. And we know that legal services and employment are critical to helping refugees find a path to independence and self-reliance. That's why we mobilized the Welcome Legal Alliance, where lawyers, paralegals, and volunteers have provided hundreds of newcomers with pro bono legal services to date, and launched new partnerships to help newcomers find jobs that match their skills and offer opportunities for growth, prosperity, and contribution to community. We are committed to scaling these offerings to serve thousands more. Throughout our history, Americans have welcomed newcomers to our country. But as the number of people seeking refuge has climbed, our resettlement system needs to expand to take advantage of America's extensive civil society, private sector, and compassion of the American people.
We spent our first year reacting to twin crises, the fall of Kabul and the invasion of Ukraine. But this whole-of-country model for supporting newcomers isn't about responding to a moment. It's about building an enduring, community-led response to welcoming newcomers. It's about transforming our system for refugee resettlement to bring communities into the work and joy of welcoming. By unleashing the desire and capacity of people across America to help newcomers in their communities, we can bring more people to safety here in the United States, and we can help them thrive. We have been so inspired by how our American communities have responded. From Lions clubs to Rotary clubs, from faith groups to veteran groups to major corporations, and from high school students to mayors and rural communities and major cities alike. Many welcomers in our diverse coalition are taking on the work of welcoming newcomers for the first time, including as sponsors. All across America, churches, synagogues, mosques, clubs, and neighbors have come together to directly sponsor refugees. More than 800 Afghan newcomers were resettled by community members stepping up as sponsors, directly expanding the traditional resettlement system. With Ukraine, the U.S. tapped into this generosity even further and launched the first wholly private sponsorship program. In a matter of months, Americans have signed up to sponsor more refugees than the whole of the U.S. government admitted in the last 5 fiscal years combined. Americans are showing us what can be achieved when we create pathways for Americans to do what they have always done: lend a helping hand to a neighbor in need. We are facing unprecedented times. News coverage of ongoing crises may be waning, but the need for people to find safety from violence, war, and persecution is not. We at Welcome work at the intersection of devastating news in the world and the desire of everyday Americans to do something about it. The American people have proven that they are willing and able to help meet these needs, and we can and we must do more. The stories of this year of Welcome are inspiring. They remind us that welcoming is core to who we are as Americans, and that we are at our best when we are welcoming. We invite you to be part of this story. Your act of welcome has the potential to change lives, and we are honored to grow this movement with you.
Be a welcomer!
Be a welcomer!
Be a welcomer! Welcome!